The second principle is nurture your fondness too. I think this has already been read this today. It says, if you have any encouragement, Philippians 2, verse 1 through 4. If you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any fellowship with the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete. And think of this in terms of your spouse. By being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and purpose. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider your spouse better than yourself. Each of you, it doesn't say that in the Bible, your spouse. It's more general, but I just added your spouse. Each of you should look not only to your own interest, but to the interest of others. And then I think Ed quoted this one, Philippians 4. Whatever is true, noble, whatever is right, pure, lovely, admirable, if anything is excellent, praiseworthy, think about those things. And the God of peace will be with you. You know, the Bible is so positive, and the intent, of course, is to apply those beautiful jewels of wisdom in our marriage. Becoming new people, using Jesus as our model, and how we think about and interact with each other. We definitely go through the process of enhancing our fondness and admiration for each other. You know, there are two crucial elements in fulfilling a loving marriage. Is just being fond of each other, being proud of each other, admiring each other.
Ron and I realized years ago that we get very generic in our praise. Oh, you look nice today, or even I love you is really wonderful to hear, but it's very generic. Yeah. But if I love this about you is specific. Because, and the thing is, the problem is that we're really specific in our criticism. We just nail each other with, this is what you just did that made me mad. But how often do we say, I just love that you just did that? We have to get specific. We were so excited about figuring this out that we did a whole marriage retreat on it in San Diego years ago, and we told people, there was a point where we said, turn to your wife and tell her something specific that you love about her. And Jim Fulcher turned to Lynn and said, I love you specifically.
Jim is very well-meaning. He's a wonderful guy, actually. The guys, hopefully, if the plan is working, you're now getting handout number 2.
Use your PowerPoint.
Oh, brother.
I'm going to tell you why it's so hard for us to understand each other, Holly Hannah, because we're so different emotionally. Can I tell this?
Yeah.
Well, see, women have hundreds of emotions, and we know the names of them all, and we can experience several at once. And men only have 3 emotions. It's anger, which is it covers everything negative. It's very sad, but if they're confused or they're embarrassed or whatever it is, that's all they've got is anger. And so they're kind of emotionally challenged, and we need to have great compassion for that and forgive them. But the other one is it's awesome, and that's if their team just won or they just had sex. Then they're awesome. And the third one is okay. And that's where they're at most of the time. They're just okay. And the problem is women, if a woman says she's okay, she is not okay. And you have to dig deeper and find out what's wrong, because that's the only emotion out of the hundreds that we don't have. So that's why we have trouble understanding.
I remember a really high point in our marriage early on is she, well, how do you feel about this? And I said, how do I feel? Let's see. Growing up, we didn't talk about feelings. And I think a lot of guys in the room can identify with that. But I said, and I thought this was brilliant.
To his credit.
I said, how might I be feeling? So we kind of did a multiple choice thing. And she, you know, women know the names of all feelings, created by man and God. And they can tell you at any given moment how they're feeling.
Right.
But they can also help you guys identify.
That's when a guy glazes over.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's not okay, awesome, or anger. Yeah.
Sometimes
Okay.
it's anger.
So you have in front of you, I appreciate questionnaire. And it's on page 68 in the book. Choose just 3 characteristics of your spouse, circle it, and then talk about when you saw that characteristic displayed. Share your list with your spouse, the 3 that you choose. Let your spouse know what it is about those 3 traits that you value the most highly. You know, singing his or her praise is a really good song to learn and to repeat. Singing her praises. And, you know, tone it down a little bit, it's in front of everybody else. Couples who have a high degree of fondness, the writer here, Dr. Gottman, found a high degree of fondness and appreciation are good friends. And good friends make for happy marriages. You're sharing these with your spouse. So there should be talking going on. If you're not talking, you're not following directions. Okay, that's all the time we're going to give you. But again, this is another one of the exercises in this little book intended to make your marriage work. Number 2 was about nurturing your fondness and admiration for each other.